Hello, good morning, everybody. All right, so this morning we are doing all kinds of fun things. We've got new music, so trust the process. Also, if you are brave or inventive, I'm looking at you, youth, not necessarily. I've got percussion instruments up here in a box, and if you desperately need a tambourine or a shaker egg, I support you. There's a little box up here in enjoying the music. Because you don't have to, but just know, no harm, no foul. We're playing this morning with music, okay? So have fun with it. We're going to start with thank you for this day. It's in your handout. Catherine did this like 2 weeks ago. Me and Avery are going to sing it through once. We're going to play it for you. And then if you want to join and feel confident, go for it, okay? There's like a couple verses. They're all very, very straightforward. Anybody else? Go for it, my dear. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Last time. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
Good morning, and welcome to all of you who are in the congregation here at Unity of Tallahassee, and to those of you who may be watching on YouTube now or sometime during the week. Okay. Oh, is that a lot better? Okay, we've got it. And now, in consideration of others, I'd like for you to check your devices and make sure they're on silent. All right? And no, your eyes are not fooling you. You are not looking at Judee Langston or Pam Maladano. I'm Joanna Love, and they are both out of town this week, and they have asked me to fill in as a worship leader this morning. So now I would like for you to close your eyes, take a breath, and open your hearts to a few moments of prayer. Allow yourself to feel that place of peace and joy and love that is your divine nature. And let us be filled with thankfulness, just like the song that we sang, for all of the blessings we receive each day and for the opportunity to gather in this community where we can deepen and share our spiritual understanding and awareness. And we remember those who are struggling today as well, that their needs may be met and that they may find the comfort of divine love. And we also remember our world leaders, that the Spirit may touch their hearts and release the hold of power and greed, so that may lead their nations to peace. And let us remember that only light will dispel darkness, and that we are radiant beings of light, and that we ask that may each of us be guided to do what is ours to do, and that we find the strength to see it through. Bless you all. Amen. And now we're going to say our opening statement of being, which is in your bulletin. And then that's going to be followed by our vision and our mission statement, which is on the back. And I would ask that today you really try and feel the spirit and the meaning of the words as we say those. I'll say it and then we'll say it together. All right? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And on the back of your bulletin, our vision, I'll say it and then we can say it together. We envision a community powerfully transformed through growing, shared spiritual awakening. Together, we envision a community powerfully transformed through growing, shared spiritual awakening. And our mission is finding the presence of divine love within and expressing it in our lives. Together, our mission is finding the presence of divine love within and expressing it in our lives. And now Marla Roston has our daily word.
There, a little shorter. Good morning. Our daily word today for Sunday, August 30th is that better? Okay. It's 4 daily words. Let go, let God. I imagine wonderful new possibilities when I let go and let God. There were times when I wanted something so desperately that when it didn't happen, I seek into bitter disappointment. I told myself stories that left me stuck and resentful. It wasn't fair. It was a mistake. I missed my last chance. I've come to look at those episodes in a different way. Now, when faced with an unwelcome outcome, I resist self-pity and let go and let God. I release my rigid expectations and use my imagination to envision all kinds of possibilities. Freed of the need to control, I trust divine order and divine timing. Letting go and letting God is my way of living my faith, welcoming grace and believing the best and highest outcomes are unfolding. I let go, let God, and know peace. Psalm 119:18 says, "Open my eyes so that I may behold wondrous things out of your law." So I will read the affirmation and then please repeat it with me. I imagine wonderful new possibilities when I let go and let God. I imagine wonderful new possibilities when I let go and let God. And now I want to share a golden moment. Yeah, I think this is a nice thing to add to our Sunday worship. Okay, so many of you know that I have an animal therapy dog, and I do visits every Monday at Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. And 2 weeks ago, I was asked to visit with a little girl in the pediatric intensive care unit who had been in a horrific accident. Her face was covered in stitches, and she clearly had some serious brain damage. And I brought my dog in, and we tried to connect with her, tried to see any sense of that she was even aware that we were there. Her therapist said, we'll just give it a try, and we'll just see what happens. And nothing. There was no tracking, and I left feeling kind of sigh. I think the brain is so damaged it may never come around. Last week, I was asked to visit her again, and she had been moved out of the intensive care unit, and she was in the regular unit, but the same blank look on her face. The stitches were starting to heal, and it was just nothing going on in there. And I went in there, her therapist asked me to bring the dog in, and I brought the dog in, and they said the family only speaks Spanish. So my dog's name is Chica, and I thought, how appropriate. And I said, Chica, and I said, suave. And I said, can I put her in bed with her? And so we got a blanket and put Chica next to her in the bed. And I said, Chica, suave. And I put her hand on Chica, and she smiled. And that was my golden moment that nobody could believe it, the first interaction she had. She clearly felt Chica's presence, and that's why I do animal therapy. So.
All right, next we have 2 hymns. Please join me. You are welcome to stand if you are willing and able. We'll start with 177. Let's do it again. The love in me beholds the love in you. The joy in me beholds the joy in you. The light in me beholds the light in you. We are one in peace, O Lord, the Lord. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're going to go back just a little bit to 152. Best part of the service, go hug everybody.
Greet each other in love and joy. There we go. Okay. We're going to bless our beautiful children as soon as everyone is seated. All right? Yes. All right. Ready? You are loved, special, and important to us. Let's walk them in the light. Walking in the light, in the light, or walking in the light of God. In the light, in the light, in the light of God. All right, and for announcements, do we have any first-time visitors with us today? All right, let's get them a visitor's packet. And we are so glad to have you with us today. And also, for those of you who want to update your information, you'll find a yellow card in the seat behind you. We want to make sure we have accurate information. All right. And choir rehearsal will be held this Monday at 7 p.m. We'll hear from the choir soon, I hope. And you will find the new September and October daily words on the back table, which you are welcome to take home with you. And there are also the new, this is new, really new, the very first new September listing of activities and events. And there are plenty of them this month. You can take home one with you, and also don't miss up the sign-up sheets on the side tables for some of the classes. And we also have sign-up sheets so you can be an angel on Sunday morning. And yes, I've already mentioned the updating your information. And does anyone else have an announcement to make? The nice thing about getting one of those September sheets is that we don't have to stand up here and make 18 or 20 announcements every week, okay? And now we're going to have music by Avery. Much, Avery. That was absolutely beautiful. And now Amanda is going to lead us in our meditation music, and then she will guide today's meditation.
Hey, everybody. So we are going to do How Could Anyone? Oh, is that the right one? I want to make sure I'm right. Nope. Yes. Okay, sorry. I'm going to sing it, and Avery's going to play, and we're all going to sing it together a few times, and then the vocal will drop out, and Avery will keep playing for the meditation, and then I'll bring us all back together at the end. Okay, so it's going to be a seamless, hopefully, experience. So just let yourself ride with it. If you want to listen the whole time and enjoy a nice patch of meditation, go for it. If you feel like singing, do it. Okay? Tell you you are anything less than beautiful. How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle, and how deeply you're connected to my soul? Just let yourself sink into the silence and absorb those words. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. As we come back together, remember that divinity is not something we earn. It is something that is our birthright from the universe.
And now Judee Light will give us our lesson for today. And let's see, Judee, the name of it is Living Intuitively, from Trust to Inspired Action.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be back here. First, I want to thank
Those of you who've been praying for my son who fell off a 12-foot ladder onto concrete 2 months ago and experienced a traumatic brain injury, but he's out of the hospital, 2 different hospitals for almost 2 months, and living with me now while he finishes his brain healing. So thank you all. I really appreciate that. But living intuitively, I've been focusing on doing that more and more and trusting more and more in my life lately since I'm going through this experience. But I invite you to listen to what Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, says about intuition in his book, The Revealing Word. He said, when one trusts spirit and looks to it for understanding, a certain confidence in the invisible good develops. This faith awakens the so-called sixth sense, intuition, or divine knowing. And through the power of intuition, humans have direct access to all knowledge and the wisdom of God. Direct access to all knowledge and the wisdom of God. How powerful is that? How powerful. And Unity's basic spiritual principles, there's 5 of them, affirm that God energy is within and all around us. We are spiritual beings in human form. We have the power to use our thoughts creatively to shape our life experiences. We have the power to align our minds and spiritual beliefs with divine truth. And then the last principle, to me the most important, says the knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them, as in put them into practice in our day-to-day life, every day, every day. And I found that one of the best ways to do that is to live intuitively, following the wisdom of God within each of us. And when we ask for inner guidance, we are first to trust that we have access to it, second, listen to it, and then trust it enough to follow it when we do get it. There's a lot of trust in there. And that's what we're going to begin with, is trust. And so many people have been conditioned to look for answers outside of them. They ask other people what they think. Give me some advice. What do you think? They do a lot of searching on the internet. They make lists of pros and cons. They analyze, and then they try to figure out what they should do. Now, if you're ever thinking of shoulds, you're coming from your mind. Just know that. But we're human. We're all human, so we've all been there and done that, right? And we're still doing some of this until we do it less and less and less, the more we wake up to our powers. And there is a place for information and reason and logic, yet there's such a much greater source of wisdom available to us through that God wisdom within, available to every one of us. Our intuition gives us a knowing beyond the thinking mind. Thinking often feels effortful. Intuition just flows with ease. And if I ever find myself struggling to figure something out, or trying hard to make something happen, or worrying about whether what I did or said was the right thing, or trying to control anything, which thank goodness I'm doing less and less of all these, but I still do some of them. And so if I ever do that, I know that my mind is in control. And then I can choose differently. And intuition feels different. Sometimes it shows up as a thought that seemingly comes out of the blue. Sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes it's a sensation in the body. Sometimes it's something as simple as a soft voice saying, "This is what you do next." And intuition often doesn't give us the whole plan. It just gives us the next step. We want the entire map. Intuition says, here's your next turn. And we want to know how everything's going to work out, right? We want to know how everything is going to work out. And intuition says, I'm giving you this next step. You don't need to know it all right now. The how-to is God's business, not yours. It will all be revealed to you in good time. Take the next step. And at times it can be challenging to trust the guidance we get, especially if it doesn't line up with what we were conditioned to believe that we should do. Again, there's that mind, right? And when we're unsure about our guidance, that's where faith comes in. And Jesus said, it only takes faith the size of a mustard seed. That's enough. That's enough. Maybe we don't need to be 100% certain before we make a move. Just make that move. The next step then is to listen for your guidance and to watch for signs your guidance gives you. Not all of it is something you hear in your mind. Some of it is a sign that shows up, a person that shows up. But once we trust that there really is wisdom right within us, then we need to create some quiet space so that we can listen for it and hear it. Doubt is noisy. Resistance is noisy. Fear is very noisy. Overwhelm can be especially noisy. And sometimes our intuition is not going to shout over all that noise. It's quieter, more subtle sometimes. And sometimes the best thing you can do is to stop using your mind to try to figure out what to do, what to say, but just focus on letting go of doubt, overwhelm, resistance, fear. Let all that go. Once you've let go, then trust and let God. I like what was in the Daily Word today. Letting go and letting God is my way of living my faith. Letting go and letting God is our way of living our faith. And when I feel overwhelmed, I know that I'm doubting. I'm doubting that I can handle everything I think I need to be doing in the time that I think I have to do it, right? Okay, this is when I like to use Abraham Hicks's technique, universe's side of the placemat. Anyone ever use that? Not one? Oh, this is a good, simple technique. You take a piece of paper, and you draw a line here, and you draw a line down here, and this column, you head this column, mine to do today. And then you put everything down there that you feel confident about doing today and that you feel comfortable that you can get it done this day. And then on this side, you put for the universe to handle. You put everything else over there. And what that does is that it releases your inner resistance. Because if you put it all over here, I've got a long list. And if I put it all on my side, I've got resistance that slows me down and gets in my way. It also creates relief for you, and it creates space for creativity and intuition to flow. Now, I've found that often things on the universe's side of the placemat get done by other people before I even have to do them. Or if a little time passes, they might not even need to be done anymore. So I encourage you to play with this. And if you forget how to do it, just ask me later or something. I'll give you my email address and I'll send you the process. But doing this practice isn't giving up responsibility, because I was raised to be very responsible. My dad was an officer in the military, and I had to be responsible about everything. But it's not giving up responsibility. It's giving up the illusion that everything needs to get done right now and that I have to do everything, right? It's giving that up. And then learning to recognize your intuition can be challenging at times. I want to give you an example from my life. Years ago, probably in the early 90s, Edwene Gaines, who, as Abraham would say, reemerged in pure positive energy earlier this month. But she used to come here to Unity of Tallahassee a lot, and she did something called Master Prosperity Teacher Training, and I went and did that with her. And part of the training was that we were to walk over hot coals with our bare feet without burning our feet. And when she was talking to us about preparing us for this, she said, okay, I want you to ask for and get intuitive guidance about whether or not you're going to walk across these coals. Because if you don't get intuitive guidance and you do it anyway, you can burn your feet seriously. I was a little worried then. Well, no, take it back. I was a lot worried then, because back then I was still learning to recognize my intuition and still learning to trust it when I got it. And so I got the courage to raise my hand, and I said, what if I don't get intuitive guidance? And she says, do you have the desire to do this? I said, oh, yes. And I was thinking, oh, yes, I have no, not that kind of desire, not that one. I have a big desire to do this. And she said, that's your guidance. And I'm thinking, how easy is that? Because I'm always clear when I have a desire to do something, you know. Desire from the Father. So that was my guidance. And I walked over those coals several times that evening without ever burning my feet. And I felt such great joys because I had done something that to me, one time I believed to be impossible. And sometimes listening to our intuition means listening to our bodies. Maybe the guidance isn't call this person, go to this place, make this decision. Maybe the guidance is take a walk, stand barefoot in the grass, turn off your phone, eat something nourishing, dance, sing, do absolutely nothing for just a little while, or take a nap. Now, a lot of these I would call self-care, and I believe self-care is very important to living intuitively, because if we're feeling exhausted or frightened or overwhelmed, it's a little bit harder for us to hear that guidance and trust it. So it's very important that we also do our self-care and listen to our intuition on that. I used to resist taking naps a lot. I just didn't want to. I had a lot to do. I didn't have time to take a nap. I don't resist naps anymore. I take one almost every day. I resisted for a long time. And I get more done, I think, when I take those naps. And then the next step, trust, listen, and then follow your guidance. This is the part that turns inspired action, turns intuition into inspired action. And if you don't get your guidance right away, you have to wait a little bit. Maybe you're wondering, where do I put my attention when I'm waiting? Well, life is very good at giving us plenty of opportunity to discover what we don't like, right? But the thing is, we don't have to stay there experiencing what we don't like. We can change it with changing our attention. But knowing what we don't like is very valuable because it helps us get clearer on what we do like. So use it as a friend that helps you get clearer on what you want. If I notice myself thinking, oh, I don't want to be in this situation anymore, or I don't want this to happen, then I know to ask myself, okay, Judee, what do you want instead of this? And it's usually just the opposite, which is pretty simple to discover. Yeah. And then I begin giving my attention to what I want to experience instead. Through my attention is through my thoughts, through my sight, through the words I speak, and through the actions I take. And over the years, I've practiced a lot looking on the bright side of things and seeing the glass as half full instead of half empty. Now, that doesn't mean I'm pretending that there is no dark side to something or there is no half empty glass. It's just that I'm simply choosing where I place my attention. Simply choosing that. And I remind you of a saying I've shared before: energy flows where attention goes. Because whatever we give our attention to, whether it's positive, meaning what we want, or negative, meaning what we don't want, we are giving energy to and fueling by virtue of putting our attention on it. So you want to watch where you put your attention. And I want to give you an example of choosing, of a recent thing where I immediately chose where I wanted to put my attention, because when I first got the phone call that my son, who was in Sarasota at the time, had fallen off this ladder and was in trauma ICU care and unconscious with a fractured skull and a brain bleed, I immediately went to what I wanted to experience. I said, I see Charlie, my son, coming through this physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually better than ever before. Yeah. I see Charlie inspiring other people as a result of this. Just like your little girl, when you keep visiting her, you're going to see her improve and improve with your little dog. Yeah, I really feel that. And then I said, Charlie and I will start receiving blessings starting right now, continuing over time as we move through every step of this situation. I see our family relationships healing as a result of this. And I know we will be divinely guided and supported every step of the way through this. And so much of this has been happening for me. Now, I could have, when I heard this information that he was in the hospital in trauma care, I could have broken out in tears. I could have said, oh, how horrible. I said, why did this happen to us? I didn't do any of that, because I've been practicing for a long time, going right to what I want and putting my attention there. And that's carried me through step by step. Some people said, oh, I know it was so hard for you to see him in there like that. And I said, it really wasn't, because I knew he was coming through it. I knew he was coming through it just fine. And then at the end of these affirmations that I spoke out loud, I said, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. And that's just affirmative prayer, thanking God in advance as if it is done now. And so it is. And so it is. And then back to the guidance, when you get the guidance, that's not enough. At some point, we've got to follow that guidance. We can be guided all day long, but if we don't follow it, it's not doing us a whole lot of good. You know what, though? Intuition may guide us towards something that looks absolutely nonsensical, based on our past conditioning and based how we are perceiving present conditions. But I've learned to tell someone if it looks like total nonsense to you, it doesn't make any sense, you're on the right track. Yeah, it's your intuition. Likes to have fun with us. But it can bring insights that go beyond logical reasoning and what current reality appears to be telling us. Appears. Remember, we don't judge by appearances. And our intuition guides us to make choices and take actions that are in alignment with our true selves and with our soul's purpose. And I believe an important part of following our intuition is not only knowing what action to take, but knowing when to take it. And that's what our intuition does. It gives us the right action to take for us, and it gives us the right time to take it. Sometimes inspired action is to go ahead. Sometimes it's to wait. Sometimes it's to speak up. Sometimes it's to be quiet. Sometimes it's to do something specific. Sometimes it's very clearly tells you, don't do anything yet. That's radically different from our mind's insistence that I've got to do something now, right now. And that's what our mind tells us. But having to wait for guidance to come doesn't mean nothing's happening. Far from it. A lot is happening behind the scenes that we can't see yet, just like when we plant a seed in the ground. And we know now that something's going to happen down there that we can't see, right? And eventually it's going to poke up over. Same thing with our intuition. It looks like nothing's happening, but it's happening behind the scenes. There may be a person getting ready to come on the scene. There may be circumstances that are being rearranged somewhere else out here that aren't quite ready to appear yet that are going to help us. Or maybe we're not quite ready yet for what's the guidance that's going to come. So there's all kinds of reasons that we might need to wait just a bit. That's why the timing of inspired action is every bit as important as what action to take. And as you're following your intuition in life's ups and downs, we're getting them, aren't we, that roller coaster ride, sometimes life appears to be breaking down inside us and outside us. Now, as I've been going through this recovery process with my son, there were several times that I felt on the verge of total breakdown. But I remember, at those times, that breakdowns quite often precede breakthroughs. So if you're feeling like you're going to break down, or if you have a breakdown, just go with it. If you want to cry as hard as you can. It's cleansing. And know that a breakthrough is coming. Trust again. Trust. You just simply can't see the whole picture yet. If you could see the whole picture, you wouldn't worry a bit. But that brings us right back to trust. Trust enough to listen deeply enough to hear, trust again, follow what you hear, and then just keep on trusting. Keep on trusting. But I'll share with you what one of my favorite teachers, Matt Kahn, says about trusting your intuition. He said, "It is essential to trust your intuition in order to receive messages worth trusting. Otherwise, any form of doubt can bring forth guidance worth doubting." If you find yourself doubting your intuition or unable to trust the guidance that you're getting, you can allow each moment of uncertainty to help you surrender to love. Help you surrender to love. This means taking the time to embrace the one who doubts equally to the one who trusts. Once the doubting aspect of self is loved as unconditionally as the trusting aspect of self, you begin to attract infinite flowing wisdom, synchronicities, prosperity, and inspirations of the highest order. So whenever I find myself doubting my intuition, I do the technique that Matt Kahn, same gentleman, taught me, and that's to put my hands over my heart, say, "Oh, I love this human who's doubting her intuition. I love her when she's not sure about what she's getting, and I love her as she keeps moving forward, feeling the fear and trusting anyway." Because what you do when you do that, it removes self-blame, it removes self-criticism, and it increases your level of unconditional self-love, which is so important. You don't beat yourself up like you used to, you know. Now, turning intuition into inspiration, into inspired action is a progression. Intuition is the inner knowing. Inspiration is what arises from the inner knowing, and inspired action is what we do with the inspiration we get. And what if living intuitively can really be simple? It just takes commitment, trust, and practice, and practice, and practice. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. You don't have to know what's going to happen next week or next month or next year. You don't have to know how a situation is going to get resolved. You don't have to try to control every person, every situation, every process, every outcome. You only need to become still enough to ask yourself, What is mine to know right now? What am I to be right now? And what is there for me to do right now? Then become quiet enough to listen and to hear. And when the guidance comes, trust it enough to take the next inspired step. And if the guidance doesn't come right away, maybe your inspired action is to wait, to love yourself, take care of yourself, to love the person who doesn't know the answer yet, and to trust that the answer will come by the time you need it. So we began this morning with Charles Fillmore reminding us that humans have direct access to all knowledge and the wisdom of God. And that wisdom is not somewhere far away. It isn't something we have to earn or deserve. It isn't available only to certain spiritually advanced people. It's within us, all of us, each of us, just for the asking 24/7. So when life presents you with something you don't know how to handle, instead of asking, oh, how am I going to figure this out? What if instead you ask, what is the wisdom within me guiding me to know, to be, and to do right now? And then trust and allow the wisdom of God within you to lead the way every moment of every day. And have fun with it. So it is. Amen.
And Judee, thank you so much for that inspiring talk and reminding me of what I needed to remember. Okay, thank you. And now it's time for our offerings. As you take your gift in your left hand and cover it with your right, we'll say our offertory blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
All right. For the offertory, on your sheet, we're going to sing this bottom one, I Am So Blessed. And to piggyback on that beautiful sermon, I want you to think about something that you are already blessed with in abundance, because we all have something. Is it your breath? Is it your family? Is it just nature? Is it your beloved pet? There is something in your life that is already blessing you beyond what you could have ever imagined. So we're going to sing this a lot. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. So blessed.
And we are so thankful for all of the gifts and all of the givers, not just of the financial gifts, but for the gifts of the time and the energy that folks contribute to keep Unity of Tallahassee going each week. And now, can we all gather in a circle and let's sing our prayer for protection and our peace song and the lyrics of your bulletin.
You can make it around. Just stretch to each other, or you can do a half circle. It's all good, whatever works. We got it, we got it. Stretch for each other. Yes, we got this, no worries. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And let us leave this sanctuary today trusting. Remember, trust is a choice, trusting our inner wisdom, our guidance, our intuition, our God within. And so it is.
Amen.